Poland has been torn apart and conquered many times in its 900-year history, yet its people move forward. The Polish Empire reached its pinnacle in the 1500s. Since then, it's been divided, its cities destroyed, its people imprisoned or worse. But the Polish spirit thrives on hardship. They're outgoing, vigorous, and patriotic. Nearly 2 million Poles live in Warsaw, the capital on the Vistula River. Ice skating has always been part of their culture. This weekend, it's the World Single Distance Speed Skating Championships, outdoors at the Stegny Rink in Warsaw. Hi, I'm Paul Page, and it's my pleasure to be working for the first time with 5-time Olympic champion Bonnie Blair. Now, what you're about to see is a new format, but a very important one because it's the one we're going to see in speed skating in the Winter Olympic Games next year.
Just like the Olympic Games, it's a one-shot deal. The gun goes off, the fastest person across the line wins. Although in the 500 meters, the skaters will be skating this event twice, starting once on the inner, once on the outer, and the lowest cumulative time will be the winner of the 500 meters.
How's the U.S. team looking?
The strengths from the U.S. team are going to be coming from Chris Whitty in the 1,000 meters, the middle distances, also with Casey Fitz-Randolph and Casey Boudier.
Now, we're not only going to see a new format, but a new, somewhat controversial skate.
Something that's really shaken up the speed skating world, the clap skate. What it is a hinge spring device underneath the ball of the foot. Every time the skater pushes off, the blade is on the ice longer, giving the skater a longer push every stride.
Well, the first set of races is already complete, and Bonnie Blair's track record was lowered 4 times, finally by Sabine Volker. So now we're ready for the second set of races. Marianne Timmer of the Netherlands on the inside. Susan Auck, the Canadian, holder of the Canadian national record, on the outer. There's Susan, but when we take a look at Marianne Timmer, we're going to see for the first time that revolutionary skate.
For the sprint events, Marianne Timmer has a new skate, which has been technically worn by a lot of the distance skaters. Now we're seeing it in action in the sprint races. She's had a lot of success, more so in the 1,000 versus the 500 meters.
Yeah, it's said that they don't help that much on this shorter distance, especially on the start, but she seems strong.
She's still very close to Susan Auck, which is good. Susan usually has a very fast 100-meter opening time, but if we're going to see as they get ready to go down the last 100 meters, Marianne will almost pull away from Susan because the skates are really working for her.
Timmer in the corner now, works off of that corner, heads for the finish line. Fairly even there, though.
Fairly even.
Skates. Now she picks up a little speed. See that?
Just right by her. And, you know, that's one thing we're seeing with the skates. It's really working for the skaters at the end of the race.
And that cumulative time puts Timmer in the top spot at the moment. There is Francesca Schenk of Germany. She is the fastest thus far this year. She's on top and knows it.
I won the World Championship already. I am already the World Champion. I won the 1,000-meter World Cup. So everything I can win at this weekend is just something more, something plus, but it's not really necessary. So that's why I'm pretty relaxed. I'm just waiting for what will happen, because when you skate on an outside track, you anyway so depend on circumstances.
The outdoor conditions very tough today. A strong wind at their back, and it almost knocks her over. She's paired with Svetlana Zhirova.
And Zhirova holds the Russian national record. So 2 very fast ladies.
Svetlana was very consistent in this event last season, winning almost every 500 meters. Hasn't seemed as comfortable on her skates this year. Very fast opening times, 10.5. We're seeing a little slip there by Francesca. That's going to throw her off. Now she's on the backstretch. The wind is at their face. They got to try to stay as low as they can to the ice to try to stay out of the wind.
Wind in the outdoor makes a world of difference and generally tends to keep you away from the world records. They're still very, very close, coming to the front stretch for the final time.
The wind at their back, giving it everything they got.
And Zhirova takes the win, but on the cumulative time, Schenk now moves past Timmer into the lead.
But that slip might cost Schenk the championship. As we get another look, we'll see that she's a very powerful skater. As she pushes out, the ice breaks away from her, and she loses a lot of speed.
The skin so brilliant in the sun here today in Warsaw. Sabine Volker from Germany on the inside, and outside Chu Ruiyang, the national record holder from China. And Clapper skates, of course, on the inside.
Sabine has only been on these skates about a week and a half, but she seemed to have adapted quicker than a lot of the other skaters that have tried to switch.
At the first 100 meters, she gives away just a little bit because of those skates.
10-3 opener by Chu Ruiyang. Very fast opening time. Now she's got to try to stay low as possible. The wind's at their face on the backstretch. Give it all she's got and set up this last inner turn.
Sabina was the leader after the first race, but now she is having to play catch-up as Ruiyang is looking incredibly strong, pulls in front.
She's taking a commanding lead, but is it enough to get the overall title?
Oh, it's a terrific run. As a matter of fact, she improves almost 4/10 on her first race and lowers the track record to 40.3. And that gives her the top spot, followed by Volker and Francesca Schenk. The Americans, well, they didn't fare quite as well. Coming up next, it's the men's 500 meter.
So, what do you want with
it? For the same way for almost 900 years. A little bit earlier in the men's 1500, Casey Boudier of the United States took on Keiji Shirahata of Japan.
Casey finishing on the inner here. He came to our sport from the sport of inlining. He's only been on these new clap skates for only a week. I think he's going to be happy with those results.
Well, it was good enough for an 8th place finish. Now, we're ready for the men's 500 meter. Coming into this round, Strom of Norway leads Klefchenia by 1/100th of a second, and Fitz-Randolph leads the U.S. contingent in 12th. Casey Fitz-Randolph of the United States will start on the inside. Shimizu of Japan in the outer lane.
Shimizu is always the fastest down the 100 meters. This should be good for Casey. That'll get him going faster.
The wind, not nearly the factor it was in the ladies' 500 meters.
Very fast opening times, and that's also a fast opening time for Casey, too. He should be happy with that.
Now the switch of the lanes, Casey moves to the outside.
Knowing Casey as I do, I'm sure he wasn't happy with that first 500 meters. He's going to want to redeem himself here. And Shimizu carrying a lot of speed out of that last inner turn. That's one of his strengths.
He's got the race won. He goes for a track record, and he has it. We lowered the track record 4 times in race 1. Shimizu has done it again. Now we're ready for the final pair as Roger Strom of Norway takes on Manabu Hori of Japan. Strom on the outside. Beautiful colors of Japan on those skins.
Hori, one of the most consistent skaters on the tour today, but Roger Strom, you can't ever count the guy out. He won the first race. He wants to prove he's the best.
Ooh, very, very close at the 100 meters.
Now, we talked earlier about the clap skates, but it hasn't been a factor in the men's 500 meters. None of these top guys are on them.
Shimizu is still the person to beat here. Remember his run against Fitz-Randolph, but Hori now looking strong.
Hori having a nice outer turn there, and Roger's still close too. This is going to be a fast race.
Coming down to the line, very, very close. But Hori takes both the race and the championship. And he lowers the track record again. Manabu wins it by 3/100ths of a second over Strom. Casey Fitz-Randolph comes from 12th to 6th. And there's Chris Whitty. The ladies are getting ready for the 1,000 meters. We'll be back. Destroyed in World War II, rebuilt. And on it is the Royal Castle. It's housed kings and the Parliament. Now hosts visiting heads of state and public tours. There's Marianne Timmer of the Netherlands. She skates on those new clapper skates. She's adjusted quickly. Others have not.
One person needs 1 week, another one 3 weeks. It's difference between people, I think. And I had 1.5 weeks, and that was enough.
So Marianne Timmer will start on the outside. You can see the clapper skates, but they are also on Sabine Volker. So we're going to see a wonderful comparison head-to-head here.
I think that this is probably going to be the fastest pair of the day. Both of these skaters have been skating very strong towards the end of the season. For Sabina, she's only been on these skates about a week and a half, but she's adapted unbelievably.
At the start, the interval is 12.7 meters. That's the distance and difference between the inside track and the outer.
Good opening time for both skaters. Sabina usually is a little bit faster at the beginning of the race, where Marianne, she's stronger. She's going to come on more at the end of the race, especially the last lap.
Volker now beginning to lose ground to Timmer.
See how Sabina's arm is flying around? Where Timmer, she has a shoestring tied around her waist. She tucks her thumb in there. She can relax a little bit more, conserve her energy.
There's the 600 split.
The fastest split time so far today by over a half a second. Marianne's on a very fast race here.
With 250 meters to go, Timmer of the Netherlands begins to pull away.
I even expect her to even keep pulling away more, because this has been her strength, especially in these last few races of the season. She's just skating away from the pack with only 200 meters to go.
Timmer has this race won, but she is going for the track record, and she has it. The clappers pay off again.
That's her third track record at 3 different facilities in 2 weeks. Those skates are working for her, but yet we still got one more pair to go.
Getting ready is Chris Whitty, and with the Olympics only 11 months away, she's America's best hope among ladies sprint speed skaters. In 1996, Chris found global prominence, winning her first world sprint title. But just 1 month ago, the reigning champion fell to third in her 500-meter race. There was interference. She had to reskate. She dropped to 11th, but then persevered, fought back to take the bronze.
Hopefully I will get to a day where it'll be a perfect race, but even when you do win a World Cup or win a World Championships, you're happy about it, but you always know you can do better. You're always like, gee, I could just... It's like you're always sort of unsatisfied still. And I think it's a healthy thing, because you're always looking to improve yourself.
Etched upon Whitty's quest for perfection are the golden images of her idol, Bonnie Blair.
I mean, she won 5 gold medals. Like, how can I compare to that still? It gets really frustrating, always being compared to Bonnie Blair. But if I'm the next Bonnie Blair, then nobody really knows who I am. They just know me as the next Bonnie Blair, not really Chris Whitty, this, kid from West Allis, and loves skating and cycling. And, they're not really knowing what I'm about.
Strong words, but backed with powerful desire and determination. Lately, her career has not been as steady as one might want. But Chris knows that becoming the next great U.S. ladies speed skating champion will take steadfast perfection. So this is a pivotal moment for Chris Whitty, as she will start on the outside against the world champion, Francesca Schenk.
This should be a good pair for Chris, with Francesca on the inner lane. She's very fast off the starting line, so this will give someone for Chris to chase down and get her up to speed faster.
But Francesca Schenk is a very powerful skater. The last 2 world championships are represented here. The reigning champion is Schenk, and of course, Chris Whitty from '96.
Francesca is very powerful. She puts a lot of pressure right down into the ice, and that's what you want. She has great extension. She sits very low to the ice. She's trying to get that extension that those clap skates are getting without it.
Look at the power of each of those strokes as Schenk now begins to pull away from Whitty.
This is where Chris should come on a little bit stronger here. Her strength is in the last 400 meters.
There's the bell for the final lap. Schenk is dominating this run now. Chris Whitty is playing catch-up, but she's giving it all she has.
Normally, this is where Chris comes on strong, but maybe some of those injuries she had in the fall, they're affecting her. She's not as consistent this season as she was last, but now she's going to know what she needs to do to get ready for the Nagano Olympics.
They're in the final turn now as Schenk comes off the corner, doesn't even use all the momentum necessary. She heads for the line. She knows she's got it won. And that's good enough for the bronze. The gold, of course, goes to Marianne Timmer of the Netherlands. There she is. Timmer and Zola both on the clapper skates. They're a factor, maybe a controversy.
It's been a hot topic the last 2 weeks.
All right, let's take a look at the champions in the other distances that have skated this weekend. And here in Warsaw, it has been a beautiful, crystal clear time with a festive crowd. We've had a great time in Poland. Bonnie and I will see you next month at the World Short Track Championships in Nagano, Japan.